today, I thought I would teach my boyfriend some English.
Please.
I don't know about you guys, but being in an international bilingual relationship can be super difficult.
Mm-hmm.
When your partner doesn't speak the same language as you, right?
I do though.
He does. Sometimes those more difficult grammar points can be challenging. So today we're going to practice together. Can you introduce yourself?
コリーと一緒に生活をしている日本人の男の人です。
Do you have a name?
Maybe later.
Okay, it's a secret apparently. My name is Corey. I've been living in Japan for 8 years? Since 2012, so yeah, 8 years. And we currently live in Kyushu. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm an English teacher.
ありがとう。
Thanks. So, I guess we'll just jump into it. Today we're going to learn conditionals. So, a conditional sentence is usually made of two parts. One, which has a phrase starting with if, usually, or sometimes when. And the second part being the reaction or the product of the conditional. So if the conditional is met, right? If the condition is met, B will follow. So if A, then B. That's usually the pattern. All right, so the first one we're going to learn today, super easy, is the zero conditional. The zero conditional uses the present simple tense for both A and B. So for example, if it snows, the ground gets covered. Something like that, right? If it snows, present tense, the ground gets covered in white or something like that.
当たり前やな。
Right? It's something that's true. It's true. If this happens, then this also happens. If I get paid, when I get paid, you can use when as well, right? When I get paid, I eat pizza.
ちょ待って。多分これはさ、僕もよく分かってなかったんやけど、when と if をどういった風に使い分けるかっていうのはさ、一応言ってた方がいいんやない？
Yeah, that's a great question. So, if is the conditional word. But when we talk about truths, things that are obvious, you can use when as well because it's a time that it will happen. When means the time, right? So when I get paid, the time I get paid, I buy pizza. That's just what happens when I get paid because I love pizza.
分かった。
So like basically when the Olympics happens, right? We know the Olympics are going to happen at
Really?
some point. In some place, maybe not Japan,
Okay.
somewhere.
Okay.
When the Olympics happen, this will also happen. But before we were talking about if, right? If the Olympics happen this year, and that would be the first conditional. If we say if the Olympics happen next year, Japan will host the Olympics. Okay, so the next step is the first conditional.
いいよ。
The first conditional, in A, part A, you still use the present, right? If it happens. For part B, we use will. It will happen in Japan. If the Olympics are held next year in Tokyo, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of people will attend. That's the first conditional. So this first conditional is when things are very possible, very likely to happen. So can you think of an example for a first conditional?
If you eat a lot, you will become fatter.
Yeah. If you eat a lot, it's great.
If you eat a lot, you'll be fat. What's the difference be and get?
Get is like become. Get is the casual way to say become.
How can I not say?
Like 何々になる is get. Right? If I watch movies late at night, I get sleepy. That's zero conditional, right? If I eat too much, I will get fat.
なるほど。分かった。
Great. So, the next step is a second conditional. The second conditional is more of a hypothetical. So, lower probability. For example, it's April, right? And we live in Kyushu, which is southern. it's probably not going to snow tomorrow. But if it did, if it snowed tomorrow, we'd go outside and make a snowman. So we use would here. Would is like the conditional, kind of future conditional, right? It's a hypothetical. It's not probably going to happen. So, just to reiterate, part A, past tense with the verb. The second part, you use would. We would go outside. Would plus regular verb, right? Present. So can you think of an example for second conditional?
If I were taller, I'd date more beautiful blonde girls.
Okay, I guess that's it for today, everybody. Okay, just kidding. So my example would be like, if we weren't in a state of emergency, we would go to Disney during Golden Week.
賢い。
Right? Everyone out there, do you know what state of emergency means? Perhaps you do.
緊急事態宣言や。
State of emergency is state. What is state in Japanese?
状態。
What is emergency in Japanese?
緊急。
Yeah, state of emergency. If we weren't in a state of emergency, we would go to Disneyland, right? Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. Safe. Right answer. It's a great thing to use when you're at a party for like mingling.
ミンゴリングあるよ。知らない人と話して仲良くなるみたいな。
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Well, so you could say, hey, what would you do if you were gonna die tomorrow?
Me?
Yeah.
I would eat curry.
Okay. So we ask that question a lot. As a question, always, what would you do if? Here we still use would, right? What would you do if blah, blah, blah. The third conditional is imagining a different past. So it's completely in the past. Like the Disney example. If they hadn't declared a state of emergency, they did declare it. We can't change that. And we don't know when it's going to be over, right? So if they hadn't declared a state of emergency, we would be going to Disneyland tomorrow or something, right? Next week for Golden Week. Or something like, if I hadn't have gotten sick, I would have gone to work. So the Disney example is kind of a mixed conditional because it's a different past leading to a different future. But if they're both in the past, that's a third conditional. So the third conditional is like past perfect, right? If I had gone to sleep earlier last night, I wouldn't be tired today. There's also mixed conditionals where you can use like past tense and future tense or present tense in one. So for example, if I had studied more for the Japanese test, JLPT, my boyfriend wouldn't be bothering me to study all the time. So that's basically conditionals.
質問です。
Yes?
ごめん、2と3の違い何やったっけ？
Second conditional is past simple, right? If it rained. Normal like ed, past, right? Simple kakoke. The third conditional is past perfect. So like if I had passed the test, I wouldn't have to study anymore.
だからあれだよね。ほら、セカンドのやつは未来の話をしてるよね。もし過去のこれがもしあれだったら今とか未来はこうだったのになっていうのが2番やろ。
Yes.
3番は昔がこうだったら今じゃないもうちょっと昔からこうだったのになってやつやろ。
Yeah, basically.
だよね。Let's summarize.
Yeah.
まとめまとめしましょう。
So to summarize, we learned 5 types of conditionals today, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, and mixed.
Okay.
0 is truth. science, weather, your habit. The first conditional is something of high probability. So it could still be weather, but more in the future. So if it rains tomorrow, I will stay home. The second conditional, right? Second conditional is something of low probability. So it's a hypothetical, right? If I were rich, I'd buy a house, right? Past simple and would with something, right? Would in the simple present of the verb.
それは可能性が低いやつやんな。
Yeah. Well, third conditional 完全に忘れてた。So, a third conditional is something that is completely in the past. That's why we use the verbs 過去完了形. So, for example, if I had passed the Japanese language proficiency exam, level 1, I wouldn't have had to retake it. Or, if we hadn't entered a state of emergency in April, we could have gone to Tokyo Disneyland one weekend. Something like that would be great. So both of your phrases are completely in the past. Past perfect. 過去完了形. So had plus 過去分詞. Don't forget, alright guys? Good. 0 is true. 1, high probability. 2, low probability. 3, not gonna happen because it's in the past. Mixed, you mix them.
なるほどね。じゃああれができるんね。ほら、昔あれだったら、昔あれだったかもか、今あれだったかもか、
Exactly.
将来あれかもみたいな着地点が選べるのね。
Yes.
昔が違ったらっていうその着地点選べるからミックスができるわけね。
Right, right.
なるほど。
Conditionals are difficult. They're difficult, but we can understand what people mean and are trying to say if they say it correctly. That's why it's important. Alright, folks. That's all for now. Thank you for coming to my lesson.
うっす。
Peace out, Girl Scout.
バイ。
Bye. もし話してほしい話題があったらコメントよろしくね。バイバイ。